So another Goldmine podcast I wanted to invite longtime contributor Martin Popoff to. Um, Martin, because I wanted to cover, it's been more than 10 days from Black Sabbath's back to the beginning send off in England, and there was a lot of buzz around this, and with good reason. And probably, well, Sabbath's last appearance, but probably Ozzy's last show, right?
Oh, definitely. I would say so. I'm sure it looked like it's probably going to be Bill Ward's last show too. But Geezer and Tony looked okay up there, but I don't think we're going to see Sabbath again. I mean, maybe if they've got the energy, they get together with Tony Martin and do something. But I don't know. I don't know. It looks like it's probably the end.
Yeah. And I mean, I love the fact that Bill Ward was there, even though I mean, he's one of my favorite drummers of probably all time, but he's not, I mean, how old is he now? He's got to be
Yeah.
reaching
Not
80.
sure. He was a little rough up there. He was playing a little slow, and I think some of the fills were a little bit clunky in War Pigs, and even
Yeah, yeah.
even that kind of went off a bit, right?
But
But
when
he got through it.
you hear songs like Fairies Wear Boots and God, he was such a great drummer, man. I mean, it was
Yeah,
just I I loved him. For
yeah.
years. I love that drum sound. But there was so much reporting. In fact, you did like how many podcasts already on this subject?
Five little video clips for the Contrarians. No podcast stuff, but they're all like 5, 6, 7 minutes long, kind of thing. So yeah, I did five separate little clips.
But prior to the B2B festival, you did the top 20 Ozzy era Black Sabbath deep cuts, and that's what we're going to talk about here.
Mhm.
Um, but first, I want to say, there's some of the reporting. I don't know. There was a lot of like signifying that "Paranoid" is Sabbath's signature song, and that's fair. And Iron Man is probably their most well-known song. But I've heard some comment that like "Paranoid" was Sabbath's best song and best riffage by guitarist Tony Iommi. And for someone like me who's been listening to Sabbath for over 40 years. I just don't agree with that. I mean, Paranoid is
Yeah.
a great song, no doubt about it. But personally, I'd take any song off of the album Master of Reality over. And in fact, two songs off that song set list from Back to the Beginning, War Pigs and NIB over it. And I mean, hell, I think Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath is their best overall song, but I don't know, maybe it's just me, but where Iron Man is like Black Sabbath's introductory song, kind of like their Stairway to Heaven, Paranoid is like the gateway drug. Once you sampled enough of it, you've moved on to better things. I mean, what's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, definitely. It's short. There's not much to it. It was a bit of an afterthought. It's kind of their follow-up to Led Zeppelin's Communication Breakdown kind of thing, right?
Okay.
Just this punky machine gun palm muted riffing kind of thing. So yeah, it's way down my list of of Ozzy era songs, deep cut or not kind of thing.
Well, I mean, I think that any Sabbath head, serious Sabbath fan would agree with us, right? I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's it. Again, it's a great song, but to me, like I said, I think it's like the gateway song. But anyway, let's go back to your list, the top 20 Ozzy era Black Sabbath deep cuts. And this was a good one because it kind of had it shows that, there's God, you could really dig deep into Sabbath, even with these, the last two albums that most people hate, Technical Ecstasy and Never Say Die. You could dig deep and find some gems, but online people were saying, "What is this list?" I don't think they realized it said clearly obscure 70s Sabbath being ranked and used the words deep cuts, but they clearly didn't, people online just sort of like, you know, reactionary, right? So,
Yeah.
um, but let's talk about some of your picks. What are your top five of this 20?
Well, my top five, four. We'll do them in reverse order from five to four, one. So I started with Shockwave, because yeah, to find the deep tracks, the deepest albums are Never Say Die and Technical Ecstasy, the ones with the least known tracks. So Shockwave that kicks off side two of the original vinyl. Really like that one a lot. Um, I love how it starts one way and then the whole opening premise just goes away and they go into other places and it's kind of melodic. There's acoustic guitar massaged in there. It's just it's much different later than it is earlier on. Next, I went with number four. I went with the Rit, which I know you like a lot as well,
Oh yeah,
right? But
yeah.
we'll hear about that. But yeah, I love this one. Last track on Sabotage, which is my favorite Sabbath album overall, and I've often called it my favorite album period overall by anybody. But yeah, I just love love Ozzy's vocal on it. It's so doomy and slow, and just really interesting and brave and creatively weird. So I like that one a lot. Number three, I went with the National Acrobat off of Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Again, doomy, murky, creepy sort of song, slow, druggy. So that's kind of a cool one too. And then back to my favorite Sabbath album, Sabotage with Thrill of It All. Side two opener, one of the greatest riffs they ever did. But again, that one goes to all sorts of weird places. Kind of like Shockwave, it gets melodic later on. But yeah, just a really interesting, non-obvious track. And then very non-obvious, a song that a lot of people don't like that I'm learning, Swing in the Chain, the very last song from the entire Ozzy era on the last album, Never Say Die, 1978, with Bill Ward singing. And it's just a big, grungy, heavy, really cool riff. A neat riff comes in right at the end. Again, very doomy. I love Bill's vocal on it. I think Bill's just an absolute genius as a drummer and as a solo artist later on. But yeah, I think this is a really cool deep track. So those were my top five. I'm interested to hear your top five.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, what is it with the album Sabotage? It's one of my favorites, but it never got the critical. It didn't. It deserved a better critical fate. It really did. And it's often thought of this sort of like I hate to use the word obscure, but it's not for hardcore Sabbath fans, it's a pick, but not for your average Sabbath fan.
Well,
Um,
that's interesting, Pat, because yeah, I mean, you're right. Obscure is a good word to use for it. And if we wanted to sort of figure out why it wasn't, so above the radar, if you think about it, it's got some long songs on it. It's got "Don't Start Too Late," which is super short. It's got "Super Czar" on it, which is a classical piece. "Am I Going Insane" is weird. And then, like I say, "Thrill of It All." And Symptom of the Universe, even two of the main, ostensibly straightforward songs on it, just whack out and go to weird places, right? And then Hole in the Sky is crushing, the Rit is crushing. So there's just nothing to grab onto for radio on that record.
is it their progressive album? Is it their
Yeah,
progressive
it
album?
probably is the most progressive album for sure. I would say so.
Yeah, but okay, so Thrill of It All, yeah, that's you're right. Thrill of It All and The Writ are just wonderful songs.
Are they in your top five then?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Cornucopia, um, Hand of Doom, but top would be Lord of this World, and that
Ah, nice.
song is
Yeah.
just I think they should have gotten number one for you, but it didn't. But it's just one of those tracks that is so like it's sort of like War Pigs, like pointing your finger at the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
Like you're going to hell.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that song too. I had it on my list too at number eight there. Yeah.
But
Yeah, killer.
what great music. It's just it feels is sinister the right word or it just feels like this is a song where when you first hear it, it's like wow. And then it never gets old. It just never gets old. Like I was
It
talking about Paranoid.
yeah.
I've heard Paranoid a billion times and it's kind of like I don't need to hear it again really, but Lord of this World never gets old. I don't
You say sinister, but a funny thing about it, it's almost like the devil with a sense of humor because it goes do,
Yes.
do, 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 do. It's kind of goofy, right? At the same time.
I never thought of it that way, but it's the lyrics are definitely maybe sinister, but you're right, that bouncy sort of rhythm is interesting, but again, all those Sabotage songs never get old. I mean,
Yeah.
listen to it. You know how you go back to a record and you're like, I don't know. But every time I pop on Sabotage or Master of Reality, um, it just never gets old. And that's the sign to me of brilliant songs.
Yeah. And the other thing about Master of Reality, it's just got that ridiculous production, right? It's just so bassy and heavy, right? Is and
Yep.
it's on purpose, but it's radical, right? It's very weird.
Yeah.
The first two albums sound pretty similar to each other, and they sound really good for what they are, right? 1970. It's a long, long time ago. But Master of Reality, yeah, they just cranked up the bass. The guitars are got to be the heaviest guitar tone you've ever heard, right? So that's a cool thing about it as well. And then these creepy little two instrumentals on it, and then a creepy mellow song, and then everything else is just blazingly heavy, right?
So if anyone is, I mean, hopefully people look at your list and if they haven't really listened to Sabotage, like really listen to it, they will go back
Yeah.
and do so or buy the album on vinyl. And I hope they buy, Never Say Die too, because hey man, I love that song, that title track.
Yeah.
Dare I say it's better than Paranoid? I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's
I'd
a
say so.
great,
Sure. Why not?
it's a
And
great
Guns N' Roses
tune.
covered it at the Sabbath thing, right back to the beginning. That was pretty wild. They played that song.
Oh God, I love the fact that they picked NIB, and I know that's a Geezer song, so maybe it was his pick. I don't know, but the fact
Mhm.
that they picked that was pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
War Pigs, of course, that sent a chill up my spine. I think just opening with that's just an amazing. Always will probably the I would even say the top five anti-war songs. So
Hmm. Yeah.
you have a lot of protest songs, right, in rock and roll, a lot of
Yeah.
anti-war songs, but has anyone really considered that as one of the best? It should,
Yeah. It's true. Good
right?
point. Good point. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
good to see it that back to the beginning though, that they had Metallica did Johnny Blade, right? Was it Johnny
yeah,
Blade? I think Johnny Blade, and then Guns N' Roses did Never Say Die and Junior's Eyes. So it's good to see some of these deep tracks getting played at that thing.
I agree. I mean, by the way, who do you think was this unnamed band that demanded payment for appearing that Sharon kept on going on about?
I don't know who have we heard about? Marilyn Manson,
Megadeth.
Megadeth. There's been
I'm
various rumors. Yeah.
I I'm betting on Megadeth, but I could be wrong. Then again, Mustaine, that doesn't sound too much like Mustaine.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I did. I did a short video clip on the idea of why was it so American. It was just almost exclusively American acts, which is pretty bizarre.
Interesting.
And then I did another one on my dream British who could show up from the UK to make a UK version of this kind of thing.
You're right. I
Because yeah, there's
mean,
practically nobody there. There's Ron Wood was there, Adam Wakeman. I guess that Youngblood guy was there who did that great job on Changes. But yeah, there's one or two others, and that's KK Downing. But other than that, it was just all big American bands, right?
right? No, that's an excellent point.
Yeah,
Well, it so shows their influence. I mean, come on. I mean,
yeah,
they've touched everybody in hard rock and even, mainstream rock and further. So, I think that you know, it was a good send off, even though it was just four songs. I don't know if Ozzy would have been able to go beyond that. I'm not sure, but poor guy doesn't seem too good. I mean, um, he looks like he's in a lot of pain. So it's I don't know if that's
yeah.
because that's probably because of the fall, right? The fall. First it was that ATV, is that what you call those things?
Oh
Um,
yeah, ages
that
ago.
ac
Yeah,
that
yeah.
accident, and then he something about when he had that fall, it messed up all the bars in his back or something, but
Mm.
and it got infected and all this. So he's, for a while there, he was doing really well. He was like, didn't Rolling Stone do like an exercise column where Ozzy was? He was exercising
Possibly,
and
yeah.
contemplating.
But this right now is like pretty rapid onset Parkinson's. But the thing
Yeah,
everybody's
yeah,
saying though is
that
the
too.
Aussie
That
set
too.
was really good. He did a great job on the Aussie set, right?
Yeah,
But then I
yeah.
guess he was kind of flagging by the time he got to Sabbath kind of thing.
Right, right. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that we would touch on this list though because I thought it was a damn good one for obscure Sabbath.
Hmm.
Um, and hopefully Sabbath fans who actually read it will
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, before we end this, what is your favorite Sabbath song?
Boy, favorite Sabbath song. That's a good point.
I'll pick. I think mine is Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Just something, and
Okay.
maybe the production isn't as good as other albums.
Hmm.
That song is just, to me, brilliant. The
Yeah.
ebb and flow of the song, uh, everything about it. And I haven't always felt that way. I was always a Children of the Grave fan, but I think Sabbath Bloody Sabbath would be mine. I'm interested to
Yeah.
hear
Okay.
your.
Okay. Thinking about this, I would probably go with either Thrill of It All, Megalomania, possibly Sabracadabra, and possibly
Wow.
Lord of this World and After Forever. I'm such a fan I can't even pick one. But boy, yeah, let's go with Megalomania because again, it's almost like that desert island thing where you say, "Oh, I got to take a double album," right? So if you want to figure favorite Sabbath song, why not pick something that's like 9 minutes long or whatever it is with a lot of cool changes in it? Great Ozzy singing on that too. That's the thing people say about that Sabotage album, right? That it's Ozzy's best album for vocals. He's really high and powerful on it. So and then I've always been if I was to rank those albums in total, I would probably go Sabotage first. And then it's really close between Master of Reality and Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. And then I'd probably go maybe Technical Ecstasy and Never Say Die even before I get to anything else. And then it would
Wow,
be Volume 4 and then Paranoid and then the first one.
you're totally disregarding the first two albums.
Yeah, putting them last. Pat, that's because that's a funny thing. I, even though I'm old as dirt, I really lean towards the late '70s with a lot of these bands, and sometimes I find those two albums and Volume 4 just kind of like clanky and cold and depressing kind of thing, like overcast skies feel. I don't feel that way about Master of Reality, maybe because of that warm production and just the songs are just so immediately you know irresistible, they're just so addictive. But yeah, so to me those three kind of go in this kind of wary little box where I go, oh man, if I play these I'm gonna get depressed, right? But I don't feel that about all the other ones, the other five.
When you say cold, was it because of Martin Birch's some of his production work?
Well, he was hang on. I don't think he only produces later on for them. I don't think
Was he?
he's
I
not
have
even
to.
an engineer, right? Yeah, Martin Birch is more Deep Purple and then Maiden
Wasn't
and
he the engineer on the first one?
no, I think he's just the engineer.
Who
I
was
mean,
the?
he's the producer of Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules. But you've got Robin Black, Roger Bain early on. So it's Roger
Oh,
Bain
that's it,
first.
Roger Bain. That's what I was
There's
thinking
some
of. Yeah.
Robin Black in there. There's some Tony Iommi self-producing in there, right?
Wasn't it Roger Bain who did Rockarola too? Like they got Roger Bain because he.
Yeah. And
Yes.
he's the first Sabbath, the second Sabbath, the third
Yes,
Sabbath.
that's. I'm sorry.
What
For some reason, Martin
What's the
Birch came
fourth
to my head.
Sabbath?
It's Roger
Is he
Bain.
the fourth Sabbath? Is he of all four? Um, but um, but yeah, it's just and then yeah, the people that people don't know, right? And then the best producer that band ever had, the Ozzy-era band ever had is Tony Iommi because I think the best sounding one is Technical Ecstasy. I think that's just got the best all-around high fidelity.
I mean, let's face it, of those Ozzy-era albums, the last two albums were a product of their time, right? I mean, you had new
Mhm.
wave, you had punk going on. I think they were experimenting a little bit with songwriting and their sound, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Sabotage, they were getting a little progressive, trying new things, but at the end of the 70s, right? I mean, you got to take it in context, don't you? I mean, it's not like they would have written that in the early 70s. Um,
Yeah.
they were
It's
trying new
context, but they're also burnt out. There's drinking, there's drugs.
things.
They're not
Yeah.
having the success anymore, like success, the excitement about the band. Oddly enough, if you think about it, I've never really thought about it this way, but putting aside, the raw numbers of statistics of ticket sales and record sales, I would say the most excited anybody ever was around Black Sabbath was Paranoid around the second album, between the
Mm.
first and the second album. And I almost feel like the absolute everybody kind of eye on these guys, whoa, this is super exciting, goes down after Paranoid and stays down all the way through the whole rest of it. So but it is at the lowest ebb.
So you mean like
Definitely.
living in the now? Like if you were living through the 70s, after
Mhm.
those first two albums, they weren't. I mean, because let's face it, when the 80s came around, people were revisiting those albums, some
Yeah.
serious Black Sabbath fans developing, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you're right. During the 70s, they weren't Led Zeppelin. Maybe they just sort of like by the late 70s, they just puttered out in popularity.
Yeah, they're like a gold record band act through that time, although they're a big concert act. And I can think of in my head like the reviews of them. There started to be some complaining about them a little bit, starting with Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, and then I think Sabotage just kind of goes over everybody's heads. It's just a work of creative genius kind of thing.
I
And
agree.
then by the time you get to the last two, it's like people have really moved on. The critics have moved on,
Where's
and they think there's
Paranoid?
really no, yeah, well they moved on to punk and new wave and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
just Sabbath doing the old tricks or trying to be more, writing lyrics that are more of this world, kind of thing. It was admirable, but it's like good try, guys, but the
We
Sex
pre-
Pistols is the new big thing,
we
right?
prefer Into the Void.
Yeah. Or famously, what else is the new big thing? So Sabbath has Boston on tour for the Technical Ecstasy, and they blow up huge. And then they have Van Halen on tour as support for Never Say Die, and then they blow up huge, right?
I can't imagine seeing those. That would be a great concert to see. Sabbath and Van Halen.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was too young for that. I
Yeah.
missed all that good stuff. But
Pat, I tell you, I'm surprised. I always thought of Boston, knowing how that record was made and all that and what they look like, that they were kind of a studio concoction. But you see Boston play live on YouTube. Like there's some big outdoor show where they're playing. It's like, man, these guys were tight. That was a
yeah,
really, really good live band, those guys.
yeah, it's sort of like with an album, it's sort of like to me one hit wonder, right? So,
Mm, yeah.
um, yeah, I can see how people showing up for that show, maybe going to see Boston or maybe going to see Van Halen, which is blows my mind.
Yeah.
That would
Well, it's
love to see.
eventually they do that, right? It's like word gets out. First of all, no one knows them, but word gets out and this Boston album just starts taking off and taking off and taking off. So yeah, there's a lot of things doing much, much better than Black Sabbath all through that era.
Okay, last thing. Favorite album cover art of Sabbath
Ooh.
during the Ozzy years. I would say
Ooh.
me, it's Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
Yeah, that's such a it's almost not fair having that one, right? That one just like is head and shoulders above everything. I did an old Sabbath book years ago called Black Sabbath FAQ. I did an entire chapter on that album cover, and it just floors me to this day that there was not more complaints about it. But such was the times, right? With the experimentation with the occult starting up in 69, and it was still going strong in 73. So it's almost like um the pop culture police just kind of missed that one, and just or decided to not pick a fight with it or something, because
I think
that
later
album
on,
cover to me, there are many more album covers a lot more tame than that got a lot more complaints and got censored and got
right.
changed, and yet that one was allowed to live. So I don't know how the heck that happened, but
Well, I think
I
later
would
on the
definitely go with
Christian
that one too.
fundamentalists got upset, right? But
Yeah.
the guy who did the art was a Christian. Um, so it's kind of like I forgot if he was he was kind of a fundamentalist, and he was showing the sort of heaven and hell, the good and evil, right? You flip over the album, and it's a guy at peace where, the front is a nightmare. So
Yeah, I love that back. Bill Ward even told me once, he says, "Oh, that back cover, that's the way I want to die," kind of thing, right?
yeah, that's the beauty of the album, that you flip it over and it's the other side of the coin. I mean, the artwork is just it was done by I think that if people read about the album, the making of the art, especially some of these Christian fundamentalists, they would get a different viewpoint. But it also
Mhm.
started that whole 666 crap, right? Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
that's when you started seeing it on concert shirts and, uh,
yeah. But I think the two Hypnosis covers are absolutely genius too. I love the Never Say Die cover and the
yeah,
Technical Ecstasy cover. I think that goes a long way to me loving those albums. They've got
that's a
that
good
cold,
point.
icy, uncommunicative sort of hypnosis vibe. Ironically, because Technical Ecstasy's cover is about communicating with those two robots, right? But yeah, they both got that sort of impersonal, kind of robotic, cold look to them, and that are really cool for Sabbath, I think.
So you're not part of the group that feels the first album, right? The first album, I got to visit the house.
Oh yeah, I've never
Which
visited, but I've seen a lot of people do that. But yeah, that's a great cover too, actually, come to think of it.
it is so
Yeah.
much that, like I said, people on YouTube, they go to see it. They go to see this house, which, the house looks the same, but I think there's like this huge pond that's not even shown on the album cover. Like
Oh yeah. Yeah. And they've got two terrible, terrible album covers too. Vol 4, Volume 4, and Sabotage, I think, are
your favorite
brutally bad
Sabotage.
covers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Paranoid. I think Paranoid's a good cover. A lot of people hate that cover, but I think it's a good cover. And I think even Master of Reality is a kind of a cool cover. But Vol 4 and Sabotage, I just can't stand.
So Sabotage supposedly has a wacky story behind the album cover art. Like, they didn't even that was kind of like a plan B album cover or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember the story, but I know of an alternate version, something to do with a wall and some stuff up on a wall. But yeah, it has very little to do with the title, and it's just yeah,
They
kind of
have,
kind of weird. I can't picture it any other way, and I almost wouldn't want it any other way because I think it might be my favorite album of all time, right? So it's just has to be considered classic for that reason.
but anyway, to wrap it all up, I still think Tony Iommi and Geezer will still play. I think you're right. I don't know about the Tony Martin thing, but in some way, I think they're going to continue to play. I mean, you can't keep these guys. If these guys could still play, they get bored out of their heads, right? Sitting around retired. They're going to perform something. Maybe it's I don't know, the
Well, I think the most exciting thing, Pat, would be to have because those four guys could make a record easily, right? You could definitely you can go out and make a record. It's just the touring, which I don't even care about, that they can't do. But I mean, you can doctor enough things and do enough takes and take little bits and pieces and move stuff around to make Bill and Ozzy sound like they're 25 years old again. That's no issue whatsoever, right?
you
So
mean
that's what I
AI?
want to see. I want to see a record out of those
Really?
guys. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That'd be
Wow.
great.
Okay. All right. Thanks again. And
Well,
hopefully
thank you.
everyone
This
will
was
check
fun.
out this one of your top 20s. We all love them, so um,
Cool. Nice.
keep them up, which you are. I
Good to hear.
got three on their way to be on Goldmine soon. So,
Yeah. All
uh,
right. Sounds good.
and we'll talk to you soon. All right.
Okay. Thank you, Pat. We'll
Thanks,
talk to you
Martin.
later.